sorry, that was very mean.
This could
You look like if cigarettes were a personality.
okay.
Don't come into the middle of my set. Like, what is that? I was the closer. Like, what are you doing? You can't. So,
Welcome to Sit Down for Stand Up, another episode with me, Daniel, and I have a girl from Brussels in Belgium, Jenny. Hello.
hi. I didn't realize, I thought this was going to be an interview in English. Um, can you talk a little slow? Oh, maybe just British. Let me practice a little more. Wait. Hello, governor.
Oh,
Thank
that
you for
was.
having me.
Is
So,
that how you perceive the British accent? We're all from Eton.
is that what my accent is from?
Well, you're doing the posh accent. I mean,
Oh,
we only formalise it, when with royalty or your nan's about. So, could you guess where my accent's from?
um, the United Kingdom.
Hang on, we're going to narrow it down though. It's not Northern Ireland, is it? It's not Scottish. It's not Welsh.
No. You don't sound particularly Londony, but you don't sound northern because the northerners talk like this.
No, no,
And
you
yeah,
got it wrong.
are you northerner?
No, I'm not saying no. I'm
Right?
not
You're
hating on the
London?
Northerners, but no, I'm not a Northerner. I'm London.
Oh, you're London?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I don't know anything about anything. I'm American, and we hardly know that England is like a country and that it involves whales and stuff. Like we don't get educated that way.
So, okay, we'll do a quick education system. The UK is four countries: Northern Ireland, Wales, Scotland, England. Britain, we just basically it's the UK, but we fucked off Northern Ireland. So Britain
What?
is just
Yeah.
Britain just
But I think
Wales.
Northern Ireland left you, right? Or did you
No, 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 no. We still
kick
own.
them out?
Not. We don't still own. Fuck me. We.
Is it like a
That's going to go the
mutual
wrong
like
way. We're a different island, but Northern Ireland is still part of the UK. We're still one. We're not a happy family, but we're still a family.
okay.
And yeah,
It's fair enough.
yeah.
It's all
I'm
right.
London.
Listen, don't test me because I couldn't even tell you where the states are in my own country. And it's okay though, because because I'm pretty.
Damn right. I'm going to take a guess then. Um, well, we're going to America. Um, you're West Coast, okay? And I'm guessing by the schooling system, LA. Oh, fuck
Yeah,
me. 10 out of 10 points for Daniel. So,
absolutely. But the problem is it was a given because of my teeth. Everybody in
uh,
Los Angeles has like the bright white perfect smile. I don't know what it is. Like we just like instead of teaching us geography, like they make us go to dentists. So it's just, it's like a give and take. Um, I'm so sorry. That was very mean.
this couldn't you tell I'm from England by my teeth? I'm
No,
awful. I'm obviously English. Look at them. That's shit.
I think they're lovely, actually. You have a lovely smile,
No,
but I like to
I
give
do. No,
people
I've
a
got like
hard time.
the low fine teeth like that. I've got the crooked
They're
English
cute. Mine
bottomness. Too much. Yeah,
look too
arching.
fake. So it's like, yeah, it's like, yeah, what can you do? But I'm obsessed with flossing. Do you have that? Like, I floss like
No,
4 times a day. I'm so weird about it.
no.
Sorry, that was way too
I
much.
brushed my teeth once and mouthwash before I'm
Like
allowed
ever? You should do it more than once because like you should do it like
to go out.
regularly
I do my birthday every year.
or
Treat
every
myself.
year.
So,
Reset. Reset. But that way you can enjoy all the things you've had throughout the year as you brush them out.
all the backup. Yeah, it's a midnight snack. I haven't got to go to the fridge. I just go to the back of my teeth. We're sorted. So, Jenny, we moved to Brussels, Belgium. Did you
There
do
you go.
comedy in LA and move it over, or is it something you started whilst being in Belgium?
No, I started in Belgium, and I speak no Belgian languages well. But it was sort of a way to meet people and get to speak English a little bit. And I think I have a partner and he's amazing. And I think he was just really glad that I got some other people to give me outside validation so he didn't have such a big job. He he's lovely and very supportive, but yeah, I never did anything in the US. I was very serious. I studied law and I went to law school. And so it wasn't, yeah, I wanted to be super serious. And then, but I'm not. And yeah, I like it better.
it's easy. So why did we and how did we get into comedy? What sort of gave you the the balls to say, fuck it, I'm gonna go on stage and, try and make people laugh?
Um, so I did like I do like community theater stuff pretty regularly and I have fun with it. Like it's great. But it requires, and I did like some improv stuff. I really enjoyed that. I tend to be very introverted and that helps me kind of get out and stuff, but that requires people. And I don't know if you realize this, but people are the worst. And then I had to always be dependent on other people to do stuff, and that was very annoying. So then I thought, well, I could try stand up. Probably I'll be bad at it, but that's okay. I've seen plenty of bad stand up, so it's fine. Um, and yeah, and I kind of liked it. I didn't think I'd like the writing piece so much, but it turns out I really enjoy it. Um, yeah, yeah, my style is very kind of one-linery, and I just talk about how I view the world, which is very, very strangely. And so it comes really naturally to me. It's just me being me on a stage, and that seems to be entertaining.
So, say, are you yourself on stage, or have you created a like an alternative persona?
So my therapist says that, as we all know, all all stand-up comedians are absolutely bat crazy. Like we're all nuts. And I mean, obviously not you. You're totally
No,
emotionally well
I'm as
regulated.
broken as they come. Don't worry. No.
But he says my stage persona is my inner child, and it is my most vulnerable state. And I feel like that is true because it's the only place I have to actually present my actual thoughts and feelings and words versus being a part, like playing a part or character or something. It's somebody else's words and you can pretend. And so I get a lot of that, like, oh, is this like a character? Kind of, but the character is just the me that you don't get to see because I have to pretend I'm a normal functioning human being most of the time, but I'm not
With
really.
a lot of comedians that I speak to, it seems that a lot of us we portray this extrovert, confident person on stage, where in reality most of us are introverts. We sort of keep ourselves to ourselves. We are a little bit kooky. We're either kooky or we're broken. There's
Oh,
something
no.
wrong with the
You
default
don't even, yeah.
settings.
You don't put yourself in a box. We can be all those things. It's great.
So you say you're not a big fan of you thought you weren't be a big fan of writing it, but you end up do liking writing your comedy. How do you go about writing a joke?
Um, so I don't sleep well. I sleep with weird like it's yeah, I wake up at like 3 in the morning or whatever. And like things will just occur to me um at 2 in the morning. And so I've been with my partner for like 14 years, and he's very used to me waking him up at 2 in the morning and asking, did you ever realize that police has the word lice in it? So it's 2 in the morning, and this is the conversations that I have with my lovely partner. And so now I just write that down instead of waking him up. And believe it or not, he's real happy about that. And then it makes it makes writing jokes much easier because now I'm like, oh, that's a funny like thing to think about. Let's put that into like a joke. And yeah, so yeah, I don't ever get to decide what the jokes will be about. Um, because that's not how my brain functions.
Mm.
And sometimes I write a lot. Like sometimes I'll write, a 20-minute set in a week, and sometimes I won't write for 2 or 3 weeks and have nothing new. Um, but that's I think the any kind of creative person has that. Like you go through waves.
Yes. And when you think of something, do you have to write it down there and then?
Oh yeah.
I
Oh
was go
yeah. Or
straight up.
absolutely gone. Yeah, 100%. Um, oh yeah, yeah. I
Honest, that's I
have
think
like
the worst.
notepads.
Go on, sorry.
No, no, I have notepads and like I read it on my phone. I like text myself regularly, like
Yeah.
yeah, because it's what
100. Well, I find the worst time to actually come up with something is when you're driving because you're like, shit, I can't write this down anywhere. So sometimes I'm just like pull over onto the side quickly, just write it down. It looks like I'm texting. I'm not. I'm on the side, just quickly write it down on my phone, and off we pop
yeah.
then. So how long have
Until
we been doing comedy for now?
my very first time was about 18 months ago, and it was like a an insult battle thing,
Roast
and it
battle.
went very yeah, yeah, and it went very poorly. And then I tried a couple of things, but wasn't really for me. And then so I've only actually been a regular comedian for about 12 months now on this like on the circuit performing.
How did you find the roast battle?
I think it was just on Facebook. Like some people, it was like, hey, if you want to do a roast battle or there's going to be a roast battle. And I always thought that sounded like fun. Um, I'm it doesn't like so to be roasted, right? A lot of people I think get really scared about that. And I'm like, yeah, they can make fun of me for being fat. Like I already know I am, like it's not new information. Other than that, they're really not gonna hurt me. I have really thick skin.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, I figured I'd try it, but I also don't get to be mean to people on a regular basis in life. So that kind of sounded like fun. Um,
Jenny, you know what we're about to do, don't you? Right.
what?
Okay. You have 30 seconds. Roast me.
You look like if cigarettes were a personality
Okay. Go on.
and then they didn't finish high school.
Oh.
I'm so sorry.
All right. It's all right. Don't worry. Anything else about me?
It was nice of you to get out your clean underwear for this interview. I just didn't understand why you needed to wear it outside of your shorts.
Joke's on you. I'm not wearing any underwear. So,
The
okay,
joke's
brilliant.
on your chair then, my love.
I love it. I love it. I said you in this game, you've got to have thick skin.
No, you do, right? And I honestly, so as a female comedian, I don't want to like be, girls and whatever, but we do tend to like have to be a little harsher, with our with the in the game because it's just so male focused.
Yes.
But also I think women forget that if we're gonna dish it, we have to be able to take it, and we can't get like offended if people say, hey, that joke wasn't funny. You should do this. You can be like, yeah, I don't care what you say, but you also, everyone has their opinion and listen to it. But some
I
people
mean,
get really, upset about that.
as I'm fairly new to the set with hecklers, I find it some hecklers, brilliant. You bring a bit, you can bring a bit of life to the act, but some of them can just be outright dickheads. So it is a mixed bag. How would you deal with hecklers on the stage?
Um, I, I'm sad to say this out loud because then people are going to come and just heckle me at my shows, but I love a good heckler. Um,
If it's a
because
good
my
heckle,
persona I just love a heckle because it means
okay.
like I don't care what they say. It just means I get to roast them, which is fun for me. And because I kind of, I have the kind of a sweet and soft um, stage presence, people don't expect it, and that is, I think it's very funny. I'm also a clean comic, which isn't real common, I think. So I don't use any, swear words. I don't really talk about. I mean, I'll say, I'll make me maybe like a wiener joke or something, but it's never like gross or like,
I know the word wiener in ages.
So every time, like my lots of people enjoy when I do my dirty set, and it's you could probably tell it to a 9-year-old and they wouldn't be offended. But to me, I'm like I try very hard to keep keep it clean. But that all goes out the window if you want to heckle me. Like
Loves
we're
are
gonna
often.
have yeah, let's go. And it's unexpected, and then so I usually get to shoot people down pretty quick, and that's fun. Like I enjoy it. But it's like people don't usually go to a show to heckle. It's usually like a drunk guy being, belligerent or something. And then that is a reasonable person to then be mean to, versus like if
I,
somebody's in the audience.
I would disagree with that. I think with social media and the biggest sort of comedy skits on social media at the moment seem to be crowd work. So I do think people with the likes of Matt Rife, Paul Smith, Scott Bennett, they are looking. Heckling has become a more and more popular because crowd work has become the art form. So I think people are more and more going to shows. Well, what I seem to have noticed in London, people are going to the shows just to heckle the comedian.
Yeah, I guess that's true. There are some people who invite that, I think, in their shows. I'm fortunate enough that the showrunners I generally work with kind of don't want that. so they don't like kind of encourage it. But I'm not opposed to it. And I think it's, I think the Brussels scene though is very because we're kind of like we're the head of where NATO is and the EU and stuff. And so we have a lot of like this need to kind of be PC and everything, which there's nothing wrong with that. That's cool. But it definitely keeps the comedy scene here very straight-laced. I don't know if that makes sense. And so I think it's a little different. So the more I've been able to travel and do some shows elsewhere, it does get a little, yeah, you're right, it is a little bit more um, exciting, I think, just a little different feel.
Okay.
But
So besides being what was that middle of the line? I'm just gonna chuck the word PC in Belgium. Do you purely do it in Brussels, or do we? You said you started traveling more. Are we mostly just located in Brussels, or have we been able to hit other cities and stuff?
no, mostly Brussels. I think I do Brussels a huge majority of the time, 90% of the time. I do some other places around. I've done like there's quite a few shows in Netherlands that are they're popping up. It's really starting to get a big scene there, like Amsterdam and Rotterdam and Utrecht. And so I get to go there pretty regularly. I've gotten to do a couple of shows in Germany. I haven't done, yeah, so there's anywhere I go, I just sort of like find comedy shows and put myself in. Um, but because so I'm a mom and I have been very against traveling for comedy because I don't want to leave her.
Yeah.
But this year where my partner and I kind of made the agreement like, no, I'm gonna travel and we'll see. So I've had opportunities to do traveling and had to turn them down. And now I'm gonna not do that and actually give it a go. But it's good to know that about England, actually, especially if you feel like it's much more heckly. I should prepare myself emotionally for that.
I'm a sucker for a gong show. I don't know if they've got the Joe Gong shows.
I love it. Yeah.
So I've done two gong shows. I've done about 8 gigs so far. So I'm fairly new to comedy. My first one was my first ever gig, Comedy Store. I lasted a minute 24. It was the first time I'd ever been on stage. And that one was okay. I did one on Wednesday, no, Thursday in Greenwich up the creek. I lasted 3 minutes 30. But
That's
the
great.
crowd, they can be brutal. Like the first guy, this guy after 10 seconds in was banging on the table, shouting, "Get him the fuck off!" And like, yeah, they London can be brutal, but yeah,
Imagine going to somebody else's job and just banging on their table, like, yeah, I want you to do my taxes faster. I want
yeah,
them done now.
yeah,
But then, yeah,
it is
we're
hard.
a comedian.
So
So
I say like, so we're going to look at doing Germany. We're looking to do Netherlands. I know, Rule Britannia. Most countries do speak a good amount of English. How do you think the English barrier though will affect your set?
um, yeah, great question. So the problem I've found is so anybody who has English as like a second language, which is super common across Europe, a lot of jokes won't land as well, right? If any puns and stuff, it's much harder. So I've
Yeah,
learned very carefully to like you kind of have to have multiple sets prepared when you go up, depending on who your audience is going to be. And you never know, it could be 200 tourists from Japan, and like now you've got to figure out how to get them to laugh versus a whole school kid, kids from on summer break from Colombia or something. Like you never know. So it does change how you say jokes and the personality with the, I don't know, personality, the way that you express yourself on stage changes, I think, a little bit depending on whether people understand you well or whether you need to be a little clear. I mean, probably it's a problem for you just generally because you're so British that anywhere outside of England, you probably have to speak very slowly. Just kidding.
When I was 18 years old, I moved to Malaysia for 2 years by myself
Mm.
because I thought, sod it, I'm gonna go work out there. And the locals couldn't understand me, but they could understand Irish perfectly. I worked with a guy from Liverpool, they understood him perfectly. I worked with a guy from New York, perfectly, South African perfectly. My one they couldn't understand. Where to me, I speak well,
Perfect. No,
yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, textbook. Yeah,
But
absolutely.
going back to Germany and Netherlands, it must you must probably have to change the set because of your colloquial terminology. Like puns are gonna be different in different countries as such, so you would have to mix it up.
Yeah, yeah. And it changes your style too. So sometimes I'm very one-linery, one after another, and that doesn't always work for that kind of joke or that kind of audience because they take a little bit more time to process it. Um, and so you got to kind of it works better to build up to a joke in those situations. Also, just performing for the Dutch and the Germans is it's like it's like if you put a bunch of angry looking stuffed animals on a bed and told jokes to them. That's how it feels.
All right.
Uh, and then at the end of the night, they tell you it's the most fun they've ever had in their whole life. And you're not sure if that's a compliment or like a really sad thing. But
On your face that thing because you weren't smiling the whole way through.
they're so angry looking and they just sit there. And you're like, well, I'm glad you had fun.
Mm.
I couldn't have guessed, but thanks for coming.
I have one German joke and it's so hit or miss. It's when I was on holiday, I noticed how Germans are so good at claiming sunbeds, like they're next level. So my joke always goes, they would have won the war if Hitler would have put a sunbed in Moscow.
That's yeah. All right.
I don't think it's offensive. I think it's
Oh,
borderline.
no, it's funny. It's
Yeah.
funny. I don't think it's offensive. How's that offensive?
I
That's
don't
funny.
know. Like, because being around today's, I presume they, got over the war. But we like to bring up every single football chant going though. So bring it to. So okay, we've been doing it for 18 months to a year. I'm going to ask my favourite question, which is a two-parter. I don't really give a shit about the first part. It's all about the second part, but I have to ask it to be polite. What was your favourite time on stage, and what time did you bomb the hardest?
Um, so my favorite time on stage was I was the headliner for a show in Ghent, I think. And I was sitting outside. There's a huge packed crowd, like standing room only in the back, like huge. And there was, I think, three opener acts or something, or maybe. And I'm sitting out, and I'm the only female, right? Because that's generally how it works.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting out in the like hallway area where all the comedians are sitting. And during the halftime, some people came in. They're like, "Oh, can we sit in these chairs because it's really hot and crowded?" Yeah, no problem. So I sit and I'm chatting with them the whole way. And at some point, they asked me like, "Oh, so are you the person that collects money in the hat?" Like, oh no, they don't let me near money like at all. Are you? Oh, so which one of the comedians is your partner? No, not gonna. No, ew, no. Um, and like at no point did it dawn on them. And this is like a lovely husband and wife couple, like just lovely. At no point did it dawn on them that a comedian could be female. And so I got up and the first thing I did was just spend 5 minutes ragging on them. Like, like I'm gonna tell you guys about a lovely couple I met and how they didn't think about it. And it was just so beautiful. Um, but that's like the experience we have, and to be able to make a joke about it was really great. Because people, yeah, it was just super fun. Um, then the worst experience. Sorry, there's a truck outside, and I'm gonna wait 1 second. Okay. Um, I'm sorry. There's a lorry out.
There
God
you go. I
holy.
understood. Yeah, there we go. More like it.
Um, I think my hardest one. I was doing a show, and it was also a headliner piece. And it's like a 20 minute, and I think about 4 minutes in, another person came into the audience, like just walked in at the very end of the show. And it was a person who'd been there the week before. And then I was like, all of a sudden, I had to like, do I change my whole set? Like, because he's probably seen some of these jokes before. And
Right.
like, oh no. And what do I do? And then like the mic cut out. And then that really like flustered me. And it just was not my best show. And I kind of felt bad for all the rest of the audience who pay money to come and see comedy, and I just didn't give it to them.
Yeah.
But in the end, it wasn't like I left crying or anything. It was just like, don't come into the middle of my set. Like, what is that? I was the closer. Like, what are you doing? You can't. So,
Try to like a
yeah.
bit of a
But
big swinging ditch walking in, like, no, like, come in, sit the fuck down
yeah,
and chill.
yeah, yeah. And also, like, yeah, like you knew we started. But yeah. But
Yeah.
anyway, but I haven't had any like I've not been booed off stage
Oh,
yet.
yeah.
I'm sure it'll happen. That kind of thing. And so yeah, I haven't had anything too terrible happen. I would love to do a gong show. I think it'd be so much fun. Um, yeah, I think it would be so much fun. I have a lot of attitude
Hmm.
towards my audience and showrunners. So like anytime a showrunner like, flashes me or whatever, I'll just like give them a hard time because that's just fun for me. I guess that's the thing. Like I do stand up for myself and I find it entertaining. And then I don't actually do it for the audience. And that
What's going to be my next question? Do you do your comedy, like your set, is it for you or do you do it for the people there? Like, do you do what you think's funny and they either like it, they don't like it, that's their prerogative, or do you write jokes that you think people will enjoy?
I definitely don't write jokes that people will enjoy.
Yeah.
Um, no, for sure. And if you were to read like a 5 minute set of mine, like on a paper, you would think this is the dumbest thing I've ever read. And then you go up on a stage and you read it or you say it in the way that is entertaining and funny, and you put your personality into it, and then it becomes really fun and entertaining. But I do say, like I said, I do adjust my set based on my audience. Sometimes I'll, be doing some puns and like the audience does not like that. So we'll just, move along in the process and do some different stuff. Um, but over time, it's gotten a little easier. You get used to that being a little more malleable, flexible to those situations.
Okay. When it comes to, because I say you change up your material, sometimes you can write, bang out 20 minutes in a week. Sometimes, whenever it comes to the head, it comes to the head. How many times would you give a new joke? How many times would you do a new joke on stage before you say, yeah, this is getting locked in, or no, let's scrap it?
Oh, I don't know. I get bored easily of my jokes too. So even if they're really good, I oftentimes will just like scrap it and be like, no, I'm good. Um, but if I like it, I'll say it whether it gets laughs consistently or not. But I get, a handful, five, six, seven,
Okay, cool,
and
yeah.
try different ways or different wording or different whatever. And I have some that like I think are so funny and people just don't get it. And
Yeah.
so I have to like, how do I get these people who clearly have no sense of humor? Otherwise, they would have thought this is hilarious.
The Germany ones, yeah? No, sorry.
They actually have amazing senses of
They do.
humor,
Oh,
the
no,
German.
that was, yeah, I love
They
my
just don't,
Frauleins. I love my
they have
German men.
no expression that happens. Um, but yeah, but I'm also very weird. So I use cue cards, which is so strange. I use cards and I make a joke about it. I keep them with me. I'm severely ADHD to the extent that without them, and I've tried, I know all my material. It's mostly just to keep me on track of what's happening. Um, and without them, I'll just sit there and tell you strange animal facts about whales for 20 minutes. Like, and my brain will just go on a tangent. And so it really is for everybody's benefit that I use them, but I kind of make it into like a joke so people understand. Um, but it makes it easier that I can like shift a little bit if things aren't working and be like, okay, well, you clearly don't like these. We'll go to the next like grouping. Um, but yeah, some people think it's a cop out. I think it is a little bit, but I'll tell you, if your brain works properly, then that is an advantage to you. So my brain doesn't. So I have to make myself have every advantage I can.
The reason
Um,
people get extra time on a test, isn't there? If it works for you, it works for you.
right.
You was in the separate classroom, wasn't you? You get extra half hour on the clock. You phony. Okay, so a question I was asked because you're brilliant, Jenny. If you could give any advice to somebody thinking about doing comedy, trying it for the first time, what would you advise them?
Do it, first of all.
Mm.
Always, always do it. Because the worst that can happen is it's a thing you did once and didn't like. And if you're really serious about it, be okay with people being mean to you. And it's okay. Like learn to just let it roll off your back because that's not you. Um, so yeah, just be aware that that's going to happen. People are going to piss you off. People are going to hurt your feelings. That's kind of the name of the game. Um, but the amount of joy that you get, the people that you that you make laugh, the people that you potentially help inspire, feel like they can do stuff too. I think that's really valuable. And so do it. Do it. Absolutely. I have a 9-year-old. I go on stage and make jokes all the time, and she thinks it's the coolest thing ever. And all I want is for her to think I could do that if I wanted to. I could do whatever. And yeah, absolutely she can. She might be terrible at it, but I'm gonna support her every way I can because yeah, that's what it's about, man. Try things, do stuff.
Also, you're gonna suck your first time. It doesn't matter. Like, well, you're never gonna see them people again. So, sod it. Okay.
I mean, I didn't suck my first time. I was amazing.
Hey,
Awful.
I got one last question, and might be able to answer it. I'm not sure. So AI has become a massive thing now. Do you think AI has a place in comedy?
Um, yeah, it might be controversial, I guess, but no,
Mm.
it is a it's a cop out, and the concept of humor is not something you can program. And so people who do it and use it, and maybe there's ways to use it that helps them, I think, like, but you're never going to grow your own talent and grow your own skills if you're depending on that stuff. So I don't want to like put anybody down by saying like you're dumb for doing it. I mean, they are, but I don't want to say that. But but you're cheating yourself more than anything. Um, yeah, although I will say, oh my gosh, the when you post things on the internet, like people steal it so fast, and it makes me so angry. So it's sometimes I'm like, I want to just make a bunch of crappy AI jokes so that people can steal those, and then they won't steal my like actual jokes. I see people like buying t-shirts with my freaking jokes on them here, and I'm so annoyed about it.
No.
I'm like, it's my joke, but
Where's the
that's okay.
royalties on that?
Oh, right. No, not to me. No.
No, that's
But
that's
anyway.
bullshit. I mean, I do agree with you, the AI thing. I could type in right now on a deep sec chat GPT, write me a joke, da da da. But I think a joke, 99% of it is the character behind you and the character of you as a person. And AI will never be able to replicate you as a person.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And there's people who use it really well and in really fun ways. And I think that's cool. So I don't want to say like don't ever use it, it's terrible. But I think that we should not make it be a common occurrence in stand-up.
yeah,
It's just not, I don't think it's the progressive part of our field, like I don't think that's where we should be headed.
completely agree. I had a musical comedian on here the other day, and he said he uses it, but only to say like what rhymes with potato, just to give him the
Perfect.
list. So I think you know
Yeah.
what, that is absolutely fine. Crack on. But if you say change this song to this song in the theme of this, then no.
Yeah. Yeah. It's too much. And then you're losing your own, yeah, unique selfness
Yeah,
about it.
yeah, the
Yeah.
thing that
It's
makes
not
you
fun.
you. Uh,
Yeah. But I will say, like I use it sometimes, like I've used it before. I don't use it sometimes, but like I'm really getting into emceeing. I'm not very good at it. So that's kind of my next like hurdle is to try it out. And so I'd ask it like, what questions should I ask when I MC? And I kid you not, it came back with like, do you prefer fax machines or beepers? And I was like, well, that's gold. Absolutely perfection. Like yes. I couldn't have come up with that in a million years. Thank you so much, ChatGPT,
fucking
for
hell.
that amazing um
Insight.
right. Like,
Well, to be fair, when I do season two of this, it's going to be so season one here is with all comedians. Season two is going to be with MCers. So that'll be in about 6 months. So hopefully I can get you on again with a bit of MC experience. You can tell me how it's gone.
oh well, yeah. Thanks. We'll see. It could be terrible, and I give up. And
I prefer terrible to good any day.
you're so sweet. You're just a delight. Thank you so much for having me.
No worries,
And I'm so
Jenny.
I'll do a cigarette. You're very lovely.
It's absolutely fine. I've been called a fag many a times. Don't worry.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. That's a
Yeah,
very good
yeah.
word for me.
No, yeah. Go. You portray this nice person. Go. You're the devil deep down inside. And they always say that the devil wears a Sunday dress or some shit. That's you.
No,
That's you. Yeah.
I'm a delight. What are you talking about?
Jenny,
Where's my
thank you
head?
ever so much for coming on the show.
Thanks so much.
Bye.